Jill, Ryan, me.
Come on, Mary Kay, pick up the pace.
All rise. Municipal Court of Donovan, Ridgefield, and the Center is now in session. The Honorable Whitney Hawk is now presiding.
Morning, everybody. Thank you. You can be seated. Okay. Oh, I know we have some in custody matters, that looks like are ready to go. Are we ready on the Farr case, Tracy Farr? Okay, how are we proceeding on Ms. Farr's case today?
That's a stay in proceedings and we're extending that stay and it actually has been extended.
Okay,
Yes, Your Honor, we pre-filled out the review paperwork just to note specifically that Judge Wheeler had previously extended the stay to November 3rd. Ms. Farr is currently in custody on unrelated matters. So we're just asking for a 3-month set out for another review.
okay, so stays extended to November, next court date. Well, when would you like her to come back?
When's your 3 months out? When's your court date, Mary Kay? I'm open.
June 8th. Let me double check here. You want to go out to June?
I think so. Then we'll have mental health court compliance records.
June 8th. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so Ms. Farr, your next court date on this matter is going to be June 8th at 1:30 in the afternoon. At that time, we're going to review your compliance with mental health court, mental health treatment. Please make sure to keep in touch with your attorney. You'll get a copy of this paperwork. Make sure you make that court date or else a warrant will be issued. Do you have any questions? Ms. Farr, do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, and are we ready on the Lathrop case?
Yes, we are. That's Jacob Lathrop.
Okay,
That's on for a change of plea on with all the paperwork is there for the file guards and NCO orders.
okay. And do we have Mr. Lathrop available on video?
I don't think so.
Not
I
yet.
don't think so. We need to get this far out of the room.
Okay,
The number in Lathrop in.
sounds good. We'll put
Can I
that to the
ask
side.
on Tracy Farr, are we releasing our hold? There's $1,000 hold on her.
Yes.
Good, thank you.
All right, so while we wait for our next video defendant to be available, would you like to take any out of custody matters that are ready?
And I believe Mr. Contreras Barrazo is present and his attorney is online.
Okay. Mr. Contreras Barrazo, are you present? All right, come on up. All right. And Mr. Contreras Barrazo, you are currently represented by Mr. Karimi, is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, Mr. Karimi, can you hear us okay?
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Steve Creamies here on behalf of Mr. Contreras.
Okay, so it looks like we're here for arraignment, 1 count of driving under the influence. That's a gross misdemeanor. It carries a maximum sentence of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. Since that you've been charged with that crime, you have the right to be represented by counsel. Mr. Creamy is here appearing on your behalf. Mr. Creamy, is your client ready to proceed with arraignment today?
Yes, Your Honor. We did discuss his rights at arraignment. He understands it, and also the maximum and minimum penalties regarding the charge.
Okay, and would he like to enter a not guilty plea today?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you. And Ms. Creamy, what's this city's position on release?
Yes, Your Honor, in this case, we note no prior DUI or frankly, any criminal history. We note because of the alleged BAC level being very close or a bit over twice the legal limit, we are asking Your Honor to require discretionary interlock along with standard DUI conditions. Our request is also bolstered by the fact that there was a collision involved in this matter.
Okay, Mr. Creamy, what is your client's position on release?
Thank you, counsel. Your Honor, he has no prior history. He does understand the seriousness of this. I have talked to him about the potential of an ignition interlock device. He's not driving, so we would file a declaration of non-driving. He does work in Vancouver, so his girlfriend is taking him to work. So we're asking the court to consider releasing him on abstain conditions, and I'm confident he would follow that.
Okay. All right, given the lack of criminal history, I am just gonna impose standard release conditions. So Mr. Contreras-Barroso, during the pendency of this case, you're not to violate any laws. You're not to consume any alcohol or non-prescribed drugs, and you're not to drive without a valid license or insurance. Let's see, what are our next court dates for?
They're on the yellow sheet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. So your next court date is going to be, yeah, Mr. Creamy, would you prefer April 20th or April 27th for the pretrial readiness? Oh, Mr. Creamy, can you hear us? Let's see.
Oh,
Oh.
he's back.
There,
Mr. Creamy, can you hear us?
well, either date is fine.
Okay. All right, so we will have you come back on, let's do April 20th. That's gonna be at 1:30 in the afternoon. There will be a pretrial conference scheduled for March 29th. That's just for your attorney to confer with the prosecutor. Okay. Any other issues we need to address on this case today?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right. You can step over there. All right, and do we have Jacob Lathrop?
Who's in jail booth one? Is that Angela?
Jail booth one is Angela's client.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and I believe we are ready for
That would be Mr. Costa.
plea on that one. Oh, no, I apologize. That one is an arraignment.
Okay.
And Your Honor, that one will be a conflict for me, so Mr. Busby will be the assigned prosecutor.
Okay. Sounds good.
Constantine.
All right, so do we have Konstantin Antonov?
I'm here.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Antonov, it looks like you have already made a first appearance on this matter. Let me just pull up your information. All right, so you're being charged with 1 count of harassment, domestic violence, and 1 count of malicious mischief in the 3rd degree domestic violence. Those are both gross misdemeanors. They carry a maximum sentence of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. Now, since you're charged with those crimes, you have certain rights. One of those is the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed to you at public expense. Would you like to go through a financial screening with me on the record, where I ask you financial questions to see if you would qualify for a court-appointed attorney?
I thought I already have a lawyer.
You thought you already had a lawyer?
Yeah, sorry, I know.
Okay,
Your Honor, it looked like I was appointed to him for arraignment on this one.
okay, gotcha. And Ms. Engstrom, have you had a chance to speak with Mr. Antonov, and is he ready to go forward with arraignment?
I did, and it looks like, to me at least, it looked like this was his first appearance. If you could read what he's being charged with, he did not appear to. I didn't want to waive reading of the charging instrument because he didn't appear to know what he was being held on.
Okay, yeah, so it's 1 count of harassment, domestic violence, 1 count of malicious mischief in the 3rd degree, domestic violence. The alleged victim in this case is Oleg Antonov.
Okay. We would like to enter a plea of not guilty today to that charge or those charges. I wanted to ask if his bail, his bond could be reduced or released. He does have a job and lives here locally. His parents are local. He has an appointment coming up for an ignition interlock on a different matter coming up in 2 days that if he doesn't make that appointment to get his data downloaded, he's going to be set back 6 months on that. He's trying to get things together in his life, but that's what we're going to ask, just that we can hopefully get him out on his own recognizance and schedule future dates.
Okay, and Mr. Busby, what is the city's position on release?
Thank you, Your Honor. The city is requesting that bail remain at $2,500 intensive supervision if he is released. No contact order with Oleg Antonov. And that would be the conditions requested by the city at this time.
All right. And does anyone know, does he have any other holds?
No, as far as I know, I don't.
Okay. All right, well,
Might be one in Superior Court, there's a no charge pending right now.
yeah, that's what I was
the
seeing.
exonerated case.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I am gonna keep bail as previously said. It looks like it was set at $2,500 by Commissioner George. So I'm gonna keep that bail amount as it is. The basis for that is that looking at criminal history, it looks like essentially every single case he's ever had has gone to warrant. So I don't feel super confident about his ability to appear voluntarily if released on his own recognizance without posting a bail. So with that, the court date will be April 27th for readiness. There will be a pretrial conference for your attorney on March 29th.
Your Honor, since he is in custody, can we set it to Ms. Engstrom's next court date rather than out to when she's rolling?
Sure. What would that be?
And her next court date is March 30th.
Okay, okay. Instead of doing the April date, we'll do March 30th, since it's possible you could still be in custody. And would that be at 10 a.m.?
Yes.
Guessing, okay. All right. So the bail amount is remaining as set. You're not to have any contact with Oleg Antonov. There was previously a pretrial no contact order entered on March 14th. And that no contact order will remain.
And Your Honor, right, we'll be submitting a new no contact order for the city.
Okay.
And Supervisor Lee, does that say that he-
Yes, it looks like they released him to intensive pretrial release, so we will keep that as set as well. Okay, not sure if we have any other in custodies ready. Are there any out of custodies ready?
I think the remainder of the folks in the courtroom have been for public defenders, so we could just start calling in with them.
Okay,
I don't anticipate any other representative arraignment today.
okay. Gotcha. All right, so for arraignment this morning, we have Dustin Adams. Is there a Dustin Adams? All right, Mr. Adams, can you come forward? Yep. All right, so Mr. Adams, you are making first appearance in arraignment on one count of driving while suspended in the 3rd degree. That's a simple misdemeanor, carries a maximum sentence of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. You have a couple other matters, it looks like, where you have worked through issues, that you have future court dates on.
Yeah. I have-
So,
I've worked group for Friday or Saturday and Sunday.
okay. On this new case, I will appoint attorney Mary Kay Gaffney to represent you. Ms. Gaffney can speak with you this morning if you'd like to talk with her before proceeding to arraignment. And so if you'd like to do that, we can just have you take a seat and wait for her until she's ready.
I can call her because she's my attorney already on my other ones.
Okay.
So
Would you like to go forward with arraignment without talking to her and just have us
no,
give
I'll
you?
actually hang out and talk to her. Actually.
You'd like, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're glad that you're here, for your court date. You can take a seat. We'll get you recalled after you have a chance to speak with Ms. Gaffney. Hold on to this. Alicia Brown. Justin Compton. Manuel Fortares. All right, would you like to come forward?
In honor on, Mr. Anderson, there is a no contact order, Mr. Budsby. As of the release.
Oh, okay. Oh, this is the city's version. Gotcha.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay, can you state your name?
Manuel Cortades,
All right, what is your date of birth?
September 18th, 2003.
Okay, so Mr. Gutierrez, you are making first appearance today on one count of possession of marijuana of a person who's under the age of 21. That is a misdemeanor, carries a maximum sentence of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Since you've been charged with that crime, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you could not afford an attorney, one would be appointed to represent you at public expense. Would you like to go through a financial screening to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney to represent you?
Well, is that just if I plead not guilty? Or,
Yes, I mean, yes, the presumption is that today you would plead not guilty,
Yeah.
either speak with an attorney or speak with the prosecutor.
I'd like to do that.
Okay, all right, so can you answer a few questions for me? Are you receiving any sort of state benefits or public assistance such as food stamps?
No.
Okay, and are you employed?
Yeah.
And how much do you make roughly?
Like 500 a paycheck, maybe
And are you paid, every week, every 2 weeks?
every 2 weeks.
Okay, so would you say your income is about $1,000 a month?
Well, I've only been working for a month, so
Okay, what was your source of income before that?
I had another job, but that was back in December, but I just got this job last month.
Okay, and do you support any other people in your household?
A little bit with my mom's rent.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, so I'm gonna find that you qualify for a court-appointed attorney. I will appoint Miss Gaffney to represent you. So Miss Gaffney, this is Mr. Gutierrez. He's being charged with 1 count of possession of marijuana under the age of 21, which is a simple misdemeanor. Doesn't look like he has any other criminal history. Are you ready to proceed with arraignment?
Yes, Your Honor, we waive the reading and for not guilty.
All right, not guilty plea will be entered. What's the city's position on release?
Yes, Your Honor, as Your Honor previously stated, we note no prior criminal history. Given the nature of the charge, we would simply ask for standard release conditions, release on recognizance, but include a condition of no consumption of non-prescribed drugs.
Okay, and Ms. Gaffney, any objection to that?
No, Your Honor.
Yep. Okay, so, Mr. Gutierrez, a not guilty plea has been entered. You're not to violate any laws while this case is pending. You are required to keep in touch with your attorney and show up to your court dates. It's really important that you not consume any alcohol or non-prescribed drugs while your case is pending. If you do violate that condition, it'd be grounds to revoke your release and potentially place you in custody. Your next court date is going to be April 20th. And like 10 o'clock or 2.
10, please, thank you, Your Honor.
There will be a pre-trial conference for your attorney to speak with the prosecutor. That'll be March 29th. Okay, and I'm just releasing you on your own recognizance.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, keep in touch with your attorney. Get some paperwork. Alexander McAllister. Katia Valentine. Brandon Woodards. Sandra Ann Sanchez. Who do we have in jail booth 2?
That Mr. Lacer.
Oh, okay. You ready? All right. Sounds good. All right, Ms. Gaffney, are we ready on Jacob Lathrop?
Yes, Your Honor, all the paperwork is for file.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lathrop, can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, so Mr. Lathrop, my understanding you are hearing today to enter a guilty plea to resolve your case.
Yes, Your Honor.
I have a 8-page form here in front of me called a statement of defendant on plea of guilty. Contains all the rights that you'll be waiving when you enter a guilty plea in this case. Did you have a chance to go over those rights with your attorney?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Your name is Jacob Christian Lathrop. You are 31 years of age and you've completed 10 grades in school and a GED. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So you're being charged with assault in the 4th degree, which is a gross misdemeanor. Due to that charge, you have certain rights. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. You have the right to remain silent before and during trial and the right to refuse to testify against yourself. You have the right at trial to hear and question witnesses who could testify against you and witnesses who could testify in your favor, who could be made to appear at no expense to you. You have the right to be presumed innocent unless the charge is proven beyond a reasonable doubt or you enter a plea of guilty, and you have the right to appeal determination of guilt after a trial. Do you understand that you have all those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you give up all of those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
The crime that you are pleading guilty to carries a maximum sentence of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. The prosecuting attorney is making a recommendation as indicated in this pretrial agreement I have here in front of me, which is for 14 days jail with credit for time served, plus an additional 5 days of work crew, fines and fees that you can complete a 2-day or a 2-day anger management workshop, no contact with an individual with the initials MDT, that you complete an anger management evaluation and comply with any recommended treatment. And the remainder of your sentence would be suspended for 2 years. So that is the prosecutor's recommendation, but do you understand that I don't have to follow that recommendation and could sentence you anywhere up to the maximum?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I think I made a typographical error on that PTA. Would Your Honor be willing to cross out the level 2 anger workshop? It's just supposed to be the anger eval and comply with treatment.
Sure.
Thank you. My apologies.
Thank you.
Okay, let's see where we were. Right, I have the authority to order you to pay costs, fees, and assessments. I can place you on probation. If you're not a citizen of the United States, a plea of guilty to an offense punishable as a crime could be grounds for deportation, exclusion from the admission to the United States, or denial of naturalization pursuant to the laws of the United States. Ms. Gaffney, do you need any additional time to talk with Mr. Lathrop about that?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Lathrop, after going over your rights, what is your plea to 1 count of assault in the 4th degree? Do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Are you making this guilty plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, Your Honor.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
On paragraph 11, it states the facts that make you guilty of the crime. It says in the city of Battle Ground, Washington on February 11th, 2023, I did, under circumstances not amounting to assault in the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd degree or custodial assault, did assault another MDT, date of birth 1/4/2018, by touching her in violation of Washington statute. Is that a true and accurate statement of the facts?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Okay, well, on advice of rights and advice of counsel, I am finding you guilty. I'm finding that your plea is made knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily. Are we ready to proceed to sentencing today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Ms. Carmi, what is the city's position on sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask this court to follow the recommendations. This was a heavily negotiated matter that certainly takes into account the city's primary request, which is for the 5-year anti-harassment, no contact order with the minor victim. I think that the city's perspective is that whatever we can do to protect that minor child, we should do. The anger evaluation and comply with treatment takes into account the city's understanding that this isn't the first time that this individual has been charged with assault of a minor, and it's not the first time he's been charged with assault of a minor in the same family. So that the anger eval takes the city's concern in that regard into account. Otherwise, we would ask you to follow the recommendation.
All right, thank you. Mr. Lathrop, anything you'd like to tell me before sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor. I just wanted to say that I truly do love those kids and I am truly sorry for everything that has happened.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Gaffney?
Your Honor, today is the 14th day after I asked for all the recommendations. It's extremely remarkable about this and we'll follow the court's order with no contact. We can start the work through on April 15, 2023, because we just had all of the students removed right before he went into custody, and he has bone spurs. We've had a little difficulty there based on that dental surgery. So the prosecutor said we would start the work through April 15. On the fines, he would ask for time to pay the fines, $50 payments. We're gonna go to some type of CMAR for the anger Val. I'll get them the reports. And I would ask them first if they could please mail the paperwork to him if that's possible, but then that would mean that you would have to acknowledge on record signing the MCO order. And I have the address on the judgment paper.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right. Thank you. Okay, so the sentence is as follows. 364 days with 345 days suspended, 19 days to be served. 14 of those days would be served in jail. You have credit for time served for all 14 days. There'll be a balance of 5 days, which should be served on the work crew. $5,000 fine, 4,900 suspended, $100 fine, $150 filing fee, $300 attorney fee, $43 conviction fee, $30 work crew fee. The remainder of the sentence is suspended for 2 years. You're not to commit any additional offenses. No contact with MDT, and I will go over that no contact order here in a minute in more detail. You need to complete an anger management evaluation and comply with any recommended treatment. So in this case, there is going to be, based on the negotiated agreement, my understanding is a 5-year no contact order. This no contact order prevents you from having any contact directly, indirectly, through third parties, any contact whatsoever. You cannot go within 1,000 feet of MDT's person, school, daycare, residence. You are also not to access, obtain, or possess a firearm or any other type of dangerous weapon or concealed pistol license while this harassment no contact order is in effect. This no contact order will remain in effect until March 16th, 2028. Any violation of this order will place you back in custody and subject you to further criminal charges. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the fines and fees, I'll give you 9 months to pay those off. Not sure if there is a specific part of the judgment and sentence where I can put that. Just write a note. Okay. Any other matters we need to address with this case?
Is Your Honor, authorizing your signature on the MCO? Are you from this party asking them to allow Your Honor sign his name down on that?
Oh, yes. So Mr. Lathrop, I need to get your, I guess, written acknowledgement on this no contact order that I just explained to you. Are you okay if I sign the order on your behalf and indicate that you are present via Zoom?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
We would release the background hold to Your Honor.
Yes. Okay, we're good to go. All right. And Ms. Gaffney, we are appointing you on Dustin Adams. He has a new charge that's here for arraignment. And he is present in the courtroom making arraignment on a driving while suspended 3. Okay. Do we have any other in custodies that are ready or? All right. Is Mr. Adams ready to go forward with arraignment? All right, Mr. Adams, you can come on forward. All right, as I previously explained to Mr. Adams, he's making first appearance in arraignment today on 1 count of driving while suspended in the 3rd degree, which is a simple misdemeanor, carries a maximum sentence of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. It's my understanding Ms. Gaffney represents you on a couple other, work through matters, so we're appointing her to represent you in this matter as well. And Ms. Gaffney, is he ready to proceed with arraignment?
Yes, Your Honor, you can or not feel free to waive the reading.
All right, Ms. Crummy, what's the city's position on release?
Yes, Your Honor, my computer's pulling it up. Thank you. In this case, it is a driving with suspended 3rd degree, which I wouldn't typically ask for pretrial release on. However, he has 25 prior warrants. He's had warrants in this court. He has 5 active warrants that are statewide. We do question his return. He's also been on bench probation with this court with a condition of no new law violations. We will be addressing that jointly at his next readiness. So we are asking for an enhanced pretrial release. I understand he likely does not have a valid license, so it would just entail calling in twice a month to pretrial.
Okay, Ms. Gaffney?
Well, he does stay in good contact with the folks. We're doing reviews of work through, we're trying to get with all these other courts to block the warrant, but they want to here, it's not hard. You don't have the license or whatnot, but he didn't make very good contact with me after we resolved this case, so I'm confident that he'll maintain his contact with the court. If you want enhanced supervision, I think we can do that with a full. He doesn't have to drive down there.
Okay.
That shouldn't be a problem. We'll drag him on.
All right. I am just gonna release him on his own recognizance on this case. You showed up here today, indicated that you're gonna be doing work crew later this week, so sounds like you're trying to get things back on track, which is what we like to see. It looks like he has another court date already scheduled for the 27th of April. I believe, I know that your date forward we're supposed to give you is the 20th, but do we want to keep all of them on the 27th?
I think that makes sense, Your Honor.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's what I was saying.
I don't have one today at 1.
Did they put his review at 1? Let me double check. Yes, okay. The 2A case that's on for sentence compliance was set for today at 1. I'm guessing because of this arraignment. So I would say we could just set a date forward for both the 2A case and the 3A.
Okay.
There are the other file.
I have the other file. I don't have like one of these things, but I guess I can maybe just add the case number to it.
Yeah, I think that's what Judge Wheeler does is in the case number, just put both of them on there and we'll file it in both.
Works for me. All right, so your release conditions are essentially to obey all laws, not drive without a valid license and insurance. Next court date is going to be April 27th. It looked like the court date on the 2A case was at 1:30. Not sure if he just shows up at one of the times, would they just address them all at the same time?
Do you want them both at 10?
That would be great.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, there will be a pretrial for your attorney to speak with the prosecutor, March 29th at March 29th. All right, so just maintain contact with your attorney. Be sure to show up to your court dates. and keep doing that work crew that you're ordered to do.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, I'm just gonna call out the arraignments again. Alicia Brown. Justin Compton. Alexander McAllister. Katya Valentine. Brandon Woodards. Sandra Ann Sanchez. And what are some other cases that we're ready on? I have stack of files here. Miles McFarland. Is that someone you have?
He's in custody. I'm not
Okay.
sure he's here yet. That's ready to go.
Caitlin Havens. All right. Ma'am, are you represented by an attorney? No, okay, come on up. All right, so Ms. Havens, you are appearing today for arraignment on one count of injury to person or animal, which is a Ridgefield Municipal Code violation under Ridgefield Municipal Code 704-050. The simple misdemeanor carries a maximum sentence of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Since you're charged with that crime, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed to you at public expense. Would you like to go through a financial screening to see if you qualify for the court-appointed attorney, look into retaining your own attorney, or represent yourself?
I will retain my own attorney. Your
Okay,
Honor.
all right. So you have a couple options today. One is we can still go forward with your arraignment. Arraignment is just when you would presumably enter a plea of not guilty. And then we would get you a new court date. If you don't feel comfortable going forward with arraignment today, we could do, a short set over to next week, which will give you about a week to get an attorney on board. So it's really just, whether you feel comfortable entering a not guilty plea, getting a court date, which would probably be in April, and coming back with your attorney at that point, or whether you'd like, a shorter set over to talk with an attorney before you enter a not guilty plea.
I'm ready for arraignment, Your Honor.
Okay, all right. And would you like to enter in a plea of not guilty?
Yes.
All right. And Mr. Carmy, what is the city's position on release?
Yes, Your Honor, we note no prior criminal history. We are asking for just standard release conditions. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so Ms. Havens, the city's not asking for any release conditions other than that you remain law abiding. So, at this point, I don't feel like I need more input from you. We're just gonna get you a new court date. If you don't show up to your next court date, a warrant could be issued for your arrest. So it's really important that you make that court date and keep in touch with an attorney if you retain one.
I do live out of state. Could I appear on Zoom or phone?
Yes.
Do we allow that? Yes.
So ready.
The readiness.
But arraignment,
Just
yeah,
arraignments need to be.
but I don't think our office has your new information, so just make sure you give that to the court and we'll make, yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. All right, so your next court date, we'll have it be April 27th. That'll be at 1:30 in the afternoon. Your attorney, whoever you hire, will have a pretrial conference March 29th, where they will talk with the prosecutor about your case. Okay. You can step over there. They'll give you your paperwork. Thank you. All right, who do we have in jail booth 1?
That'll be one that would be Miss Ingstrom's client, and it looks like maybe Miss Ingstrom might be ready.
Good morning, Judge. This is Michael Hartley in jail booth 1.
Okay, let me. Okay. And it looks like Mr. Hartley is here for arraignment today. So Mr. Hartley, you're here for arraignment on 1 count of ignition interlock violation and 1 count of driving while suspended in the 3rd degree. Ignition interlock violation is a gross misdemeanor, carries a maximum sentence of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. Driving while suspended is a simple misdemeanor, carries a maximum sentence of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Ms. Ingstrom has been appointed to represent you. And Ms. Ingstrom, is he ready to go forward with arraignment today?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and how would he like to proceed?
We can waive further reading on this one and enter a plea of not guilty to the charges. We're asking that we lift whatever hold that we might have for him. I don't think he's much of a flight risk. He doesn't have much of a history besides this DUI, and he lives with a girlfriend and 3 kids. And he sort of fell off the map on this prior DUI during COVID and didn't get back on the wagon when he should have, but here we are.
All right, Ms. Carmi, what's this city's position on release?
Yes, Your Honor. My understanding is that he's being held on the DUI warrant with $15,000 bail. So we're not requesting any bail on our matters. I believe district court released him from bail, but did put into place intensive pretrial supervision. We would ask for that to remain. I mean, we do note not a significant lengthy warrant history. However, the nature of the charges are concerning for community safety reasons. So we would ask for intensive pretrial supervision and a finding of or condition, excuse me, of no driving without a valid license, insurance, and ignition interlock for DOL.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Hartley, yeah, on this case, you don't have a hold, you have a hold on your county case. So if there's any request to readdress bail or conditions on that matter, it'll be need to cite it into district court in Clark County. On this case, you're going to release you to intensive pretrial release. You're not to drive without a valid license and insurance, and not to violate any other laws. As a condition of release, you're going to need to have ignition interlock installed. It sounds like you're already under a requirement to do so by the Department of Licensing, so you'll need to comply with that. Ms. Ingstrom, what would you like your next court date to be if there's a possibility he'll remain in custody?
If we can put it on the 30th, that would be great. Sounds like I'm already there.
Okay. All right, Mr. Hartley, your next court date on this matter is going to be March 30th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Be sure to keep in touch with your attorney. You obviously have 2 cases in 2 different courts, so that's important to keep in touch with both of your attorneys on those matters so they can coordinate with one another.
Can I get a breakout room again with him real quick?
Yes, I think so. All right. Daphne, do you have anything ready?
No, I don't think so. I'm waiting for 2 people in custody.
Okay.
I think I
Let's
heard.
see, I think McFarland is now in memory case.
Oh, let me just, that's ready to go. I just have to make sure he doesn't have any questions.
And I think
Breakout room, that's for Mr. McFarland.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I believe Ashley Sweetman is here for
Okay.
arraignment, and so, who is here for first appearance.
Okay. Ashley Sweetman? Yep. All right, so Ms. Sweetman, you are making first appearance, and arraignment on one count of assault in the fourth degree domestic violence. That's a gross misdemeanor. It carries a maximum sentence of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. Since you're charged with that crime, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you at public expense. So moving forward, would you like to go through a financial screening to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney, or would you like to look into retaining a privately, retained attorney or represent yourself?
How do I make this go like the quickest? Like if I plead like no contest, do I still need to get an attorney? Will I have another court date? Or if I plead guilty, will everything be sentenced today?
So lots of big questions there. I would say that this is a very serious charge, even though it's a gross misdemeanor. I can't offer you legal advice, but it's certainly something that should be, taken seriously. And, I'd strongly encourage you to speak with an attorney, whether it's a court-appointed attorney if you qualify, or a privately retained attorney.
And I would say, I could add, Your Honor, that in duty of candor toward the court and the defendant, given the fact of this case and the criminal history, this is likely going to be a deferred prosecution offer. So, so I guess my point is that you may, I certainly won't guide you, but you may wish to ask to be screened for a court-appointed attorney who can go over that with you. So I don't anticipate this will be a case that drags on and on and on. It's certainly not one the city's looking to take to trial, but we probably will want to go over with an attorney on your behalf a deferred prosecution offer.
Okay, I cannot afford an attorney, so.
Okay, so I can ask you some questions about your income. So are you on any sort of federal or state assistance, like food stamps?
I am, but that will be canceling. And right now I'm in the process of trying to get disability.
Okay.
Because I do live with my ex-husband, so they're counting his income, even though we're not together. So I will not get any more financial help from out there.
Okay.
But I'm trying to get my disability in order for me to get out on my own.
Okay. Are you employed?
I can't even work.
Okay. All right. So based on that information, I will appoint an attorney to represent you. So we'll appoint Ms. Gaffney to your case. Ms. Gaffney, this is Miss Ashley Sweetman. She's being charged with assault for DV. So I'm not sure if you'd like to talk with her a little bit before coming back before me for arraignment.
Yes, please, thank you.
And you could talk, it sounds like Ms. Carmi might have some information for you.
Great, and then if you would mind, I take the court file, if you don't mind.
Yes, I have the charging document. Let me see if I can have a statement for you. Pull that.
Yes, an entry.
No. I will just need this back from you once you're done with it.
Thank you, Dr. John. Appreciate it.
And here's the charging document.
And then it's just all this matter in like 5 minutes. If I do that,
Sure.
Ms. Bartlett,
Sounds good.
then I'll chat with you.
All right, so would you like to move forward with Mr. McFarland?
Please, thank you, Your Honor. We have just checked, there are no questions. So, sign it. And then we can discuss it the other day.
Okay. All right, do you have, Mr. McFarland, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. McFarland, I have in front of me today a statement of defendant on plea of guilty, which is a 7-page form that goes over all the rights that you'll be waiving when you enter a guilty plea in this case. Did you have a chance to go over this document with your attorney?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So, Mr. McFarland, you're charged with theft in the 3rd degree. It's my understanding you're 33 years old and you've completed a GED. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. So since you've been charged with theft in the 3rd degree, you have certain rights. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. You have the right to remain silent before and during trial and the right to refuse to testify against yourself. You have the right at trial to hear and question witnesses who could testify against you and witnesses who could testify in your favor who could be made to appear at no expense. You have the right to be presumed innocent unless the charge is proven beyond a reasonable doubt or you enter a plea of guilty, and you have the right to appeal a determination of guilt after a trial. Do you understand that you have all of those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand that by pleading guilty, you give up all of those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
The crime that you're pleading guilty to carries a maximum sentence of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. I have a pretrial agreement here in front of me. The recommendation is for 2 days of jail. Is there credit for time served? With credit for time served. Doesn't look like any other conditions are requested. So just a straight credit for time served offer. Even though that's the offer, do you understand that I don't have to follow that recommendation and could sentence you anywhere up to the maximum?
Yes, ma'am.
I have the authority to place you on probation. I can require you to pay costs, fees, and assessments that are authorized by law. Also, if you're not a United States citizen, a plea of guilty to an offense punishable as a crime under state law may be grounds for deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or denial of naturalization pursuant to the laws of the United States. Ms. Gaffney, do you need any additional time to talk with him about that one?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, and Mr. McFarland, what is your plea to 1 count of theft in the 3rd degree? Is it guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes, ma'am.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Paragraph 11 states the facts that make you guilty of the crime. It says, in the city of Battleground, Washington, on November 19th, 2022, I obtained property of another with the intent to deprive the true owner of that property. Is that a true and accurate statement of the facts?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So I am finding that there is a factual basis. I'm finding your plea is being entered knowingly and voluntarily and intelligently, and I will find you guilty. Are we ready to proceed to sentencing today?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
And Ms. Carmi, what is the city's position on sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask the court to follow the recommendation. While it may seem light in some regards on the sentencing for this charge, our office is taking into account that he's entering therapeutic courts in Clark County. We believe that that is where the real work is for him. So we are asking just for the 2 days of jail, credit time served. And we are asking to terminate probation with this court so that all of his monitoring can take place through DOSA in Clark County.
Okay. And Mr. McFarland, anything you'd like to tell me before sentencing?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right, Ms. Gaffney, anything before sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, the prosecutor is right. The issue is drugs, and he is going into DOSA. He's set to enter the DOSA program, which currently being over gap. He hasn't worked now for almost a year. He did do residential remodeling. He has a 10-year-old son, a 7-year-old son, and a 3-year-old daughter. But really, his mom passed away in 2008. But when his mom passed away, that was a real trigger for him. And he really took a downward spiral for a long time. When I saw him in custody the other day, he really looks good. He's sober and he wants to remain that way. And I just want to remain The person, he shouldn't be the better parent for his children, so he's trying to move on, and he's really, really gonna work hard on those. So I ask your honor to apologize. I think you thank your honor.
All right, thank you. And just for clarification, as I'm filling out the judgment and sentence, we're not asking for probation or supervision.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, my city's, my office's request is that we don't track any of the probation and that all of that will happen through Clark County.
Okay, that sounds good. All right, so Mr. McFarland, I am gonna follow the pretrial agreement. So I'm sentencing you to 364 days or 362 days suspended, 2 days to serve in jail with credit for 2 days served. Since you are going into the DOSA program, it sounds like you are going to have financial obligations related to that. You've been deemed to be indigent, so I'm gonna waive all non-mandatory fines and fees. You're not subject to probation on this case, so please dedicate all of your efforts towards staying clean and sober and being successful on DOSA.
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Good luck, Myra. Thank you, Army.
Thank you.
And Ms. Carmi, what's the city's position on which fees are mandatory and which are not?
I think in this case, because it's not DV, they are all discretionary.
That is my position as well. Just wanted to confirm before striking. All right, good luck, Mr. McFarland.
Thank you so much, Your Honor. Have a great day.
You too. Did we have out of custody ready in the courtroom?
What, your name in the front row? Oh, I think you are in arraignment. You're here for arraignment too.
Valerian Newman? All right, come on up.
Oh, and Sarkinen, okay.
Oh. Come on up. All right, please state your name
Valerian Newman,
and what's your date of birth?
March 21st, 1998.
All right, Mr. Newman, you're making first appearance in arraignment today on one count of driving while suspended in the 3rd degree. It's a simple misdemeanor. It carries a maximum sentence of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Since you've been charged with that crime, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you cannot afford an attorney, one would be appointed to you at public expense. Would you like to go through a financial screening to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney? Or would you like to retain private counsel or represent yourself?
I'll go with the court-appointed attorney.
All right, so I'm going to ask you some questions about your finances to see if you qualify for court-appointed counsel. Just to start out with, are you on any sort of state or federal assistance, such as food stamps, disability, TANF?
No, ma'am.
Okay, are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
And what do you do for work?
Install floors.
Okay, and what is your approximate monthly income?
About $4,000 a month.
4,000, and how many people do you support?
I just help my mom out with rent.
Okay. So under the financial guidelines, unfortunately, you don't qualify for a court-appointed attorney. What we can do today is we can still go forward with your arraignment, which is when you would presumably enter a plea of not guilty. We would get you a new court date, and in between now and your next court date, you can retain a private attorney. You always have the option to represent yourself as well and speak directly with the prosecutor. So knowing those options, would you like to still go forward with arraignment today and enter a plea of not guilty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So a not guilty plea will be entered. Ms. Carmi, what's the city's position on release?
Your Honor, in this case, at least based on in-state criminal history, no priors and no warrants. We assume that there must be something driving related out of state, but given the lack of in-state history, We would just ask for standard release conditions, no driving without a valid license and insurance.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Newman, you're gonna be released on your own recognizance. While your case is pending, you're not to drive without a valid license or current insurance. And you are to obey all laws. We will get to a future court date. So, would you prefer to come back April 20th or April 27th?
April 20th.
So your next court date is going to be April 20th. That will be at 1:30. If you do hire an attorney, they'll have a pretrial conference with the prosecutor on March 29th. Any questions today?
I would, if I were to plead guilty, would it be like work release or would there be jail time?
That's something you need to talk with the prosecutor about. If you do hire an attorney, your attorney would discuss that with the
Okay.
prosecutor and negotiate on your behalf.
Would I be able to talk with the prosecutor today?
So not today, but I handed you my card. Shoot me an email or call the number and we can talk. Probably next week would be the earliest. Okay, email's great. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Right, we'll step over there and give you your paperwork.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, are you Mr. Starkinen? All right, come on up. Okay, so Mr. Starkinen. You're appearing today for arraignment, and first appearance on one count of driving while suspended in the 3rd degree. It's a simple misdemeanor, carries a maximum sentence of 90 days in jail and a $1,000 fine. Since you're charged with that crime, you have the right to be represented by an attorney. If you can't afford an attorney, one will be appointed to you at public expense. Would you like to go through a financial screening to see if you qualify for a court-appointed attorney or look into hiring an attorney or representing yourself?
I'll do a court appointed.
Okay. So I'll go through a financial screening with you, ask you some questions about your finances to see if you qualify. First, I'd like to start out by asking if you're on any sort of state or federal assistance, such as food stamps, disability, TANF.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, are you employed?
Yeah,
And what is your job?
electrical,
Okay, and how much do you make per month on average?
roughly 1 to 1,400.
Okay, so $1,000 to $1,400.
Yeah,
How many people do you support in your household?
just me.
Just you? Okay. And any other sources of income?
No.
Okay, so I'm gonna find that you qualify for court-appointed counsel based on the financial guidelines that we have. I will appoint Miss Gaffney.
Your Honor, we're going to do Ms. Hampson.
Oh, okay,
This was Craig's previous client.
gotcha. Okay, so it sounds like you were previously appointed to Mr. Cheney. Miss Angstrom from his office has kind of taken over for him, so we will appoint Miss Angstrom to represent you. Does she have the ability to talk with him today on Zoom or?
If we could get his, actually, we can give him this Angstrom's phone number.
Okay.
When she's done with videos, he can talk with her either out in the hall or outside.
Okay.
And then come back in when they're ready.
Okay, sounds good. So we'll get you Miss Angstrom's phone number. You can talk with her before coming back before me for arraignment. So she has a couple video arraignment clients who are in jail that we need to take as a priority. So she'll have a chance to talk with you once we're done with those.
Yeah.
All right, sorry for the delay.
Thank you.
Hi, what case are you here for? What was the name? Are we ready to move forward on Ms. Sweetman's case?
I think the prosecutor wanted me to talk with her about it today or today.
I'll send it. You don't have to talk about it today. I'll send it to you by email.
We already right.
Okay,
Yes, it's somewhere in my little file.
We can enter not guilty, waive the reading.
all right, thank you. And Ms. Carmy, what's the city's position on release?
Yes, Your Honor, in reading the facts of this case, certainly there's a lot of moving parts here. First, I want to address the city's not requesting a no contact order, even though it is a family member, and I think that's just based on the underlying facts of the case as we understand them. Certainly a difficult position, I think, for all parties involved. So we are simply requesting standard release conditions, release on recognizance.
All right,
Thank you, Ms. Carney.
and Ms. Gaffney, yes,
Yes, Your
no
Honor.
objection to that.
Obviously, great. My client has a lot of health issues and she's very stressed out.
Okay, all right. So not guilty plea will be entered. I did review the case for probable cause. Probable cause is established. Your next court date is going to be April 20th. Would you like that at 10 or 2?
10, Your Honor.
All right, and while your case is pending, you're to obey all laws. Your next court date, April 20th, that is a mandatory court appearance. Failure to appear could cause the issuance of a warrant. So just be sure to keep in touch with Ms. Gaffney.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Ms. Harms.
Thank you. Oops. Thank you. And then Ms. Gaffney, I think we have Hayden Wellman here. I believe that's. is that a client?
Yes, I do need to talk to Mr. Wellman.
Okay. He's just right behind you. Just showed up.
Yeah, I saw it.
We do not have anyone in the jail booth, I don't think.
And I believe Mr. Govier is a Greg Cheney client that will be requested in the written attorney. The only other one we have today is Ms. Gaffney.
Okay.
So. I
Is
do
he out
not,
of
Mr.
custody?
Cheney will not be present. So.
Right. So the last name is Govier?
Govier. G-O-V-A.
Put on for 8:30.
It should be 10 o'clock readiness. I apologize. I just thought and pop into the new, you know, new. Hey, Mary Kay. Yeah. No, but this gentleman online will like, depending on judge's ruling, will likely be assigned to me. There is someone in the league.
There's one here.
We can call the Govier case. Is there a Jose Luis Govier Alejandros on Zoom?
Yes, Your Honor, I'm here. I'm present. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, more or less.
Okay.
All right, so Mr. Govier,
Sorry
you
for the
are,
noise in the background.
oh no, it's okay. You are appearing today for your readiness hearing. The court received a letter from you indicating that you would like new counsel appointed to your case. Is that right?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Okay. So, you know, we can certainly appoint new counsel. I just need to make you aware that disqualification of counsel does restart your speedy trial. And so if new counsel is appointed, speedy trial would restart and there would be a new 90-day clock ticking commencing today. So I just always like to make people aware that you know, we can certainly appoint new counsel if there's been a breakdown in communication. However, it does lead to a further delay in your case. Do you have any questions about that?
No, Your Honor. As long as I get the proper counsel, I'm okay with the delay.
Okay. So you know, we can substitute in Miss Gaffney on your case. She is here today and we will appoint her to your matter. As I indicated, disqualification of counsel, restart speedy. So we will get you a new court date. Would you like an opportunity to try and speak with Miss Gaffney today prior to setting that court date? Or would you feel comfortable with me setting your court date and having you contact Miss Gaffney in between now and then?
You can go ahead and set the court date and I can contact my new counsel. As long as I have a phone number to contact her, that would be great.
Okay. All right. So.
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Govier, what is a good contact number for you?
360-210-9199.
All right. So what we'll do is, we'll appoint new counsel, Ms. Gaffney, and we'll set your case over to April 20th. That'll be at 10 o'clock in the morning.
Okay,
Ms. Gaffney will have a pretrial conference, which is a meeting between her and the prosecutor to discuss your case on March 29th. You do
Okay.
not need to appear at that one.
okay,
All previously imposed release conditions will remain as set. So you're not to drive without a valid license or insurance, okay?
absolutely.
Okay. And will we email this to him or mail it to him?
We'll mail it.
Okay, so we'll mail this documentation to you. It'll have Miss Gaffney's contact information. Just be sure to get in touch with her as soon as you can. Get on her calendar so she can get up to speed with your case, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate
Great.
it.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ma'am, what case are you here for?
Maybe that's in the gap in case of our readiness.
You know if we have anyone waiting in the jail booths?
Ms. Ingstrom is still with Mr. Meehan, and Mary Kay must be with the last one, Levi.
Okay.
So they're both being used.
Gotcha. Meehan should be ready in just a couple minutes. She's tying up for just a couple loose ends on the plea. Okay. I'm gonna step out just for 3 minutes, Your Honor. Sounds good.
We do have a person on, well, we have 3 on Zoom, but one of them will need to identify.
Okay.
That's Mr. Wellman's out of custody, and that's Mr. Bud. We're just going to do with the waiver. I just received a pre-file application.
Okay. And did you say we have Mr. Meehan available in custody or no?
Mr. Meehan is in custody, yes, not quite ready.
Okay. All right, Ms. Gaffney, would you like to call your out of custody
Sure.
case, Hayden Wellman? Mr. Wellman, come on up.
That's Mr. Wellman, 8.
Mr. Busby, you're on this case, right?
Correct.
Okay, and Ms. Gaffney, what would you like to do with Mr. Wellman's
We're gonna
case?
go over 2 weeks. We have a very favorable recommendation. I just have to go already. And I want to take some time. I don't like to rush on lines. We are waiving our speedy trial right with a new commencement date of March 30th.
All right, Mr. Busby, any objection to the set over?
No objection, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, so Mr. Wellman, in order to set over your case, looks like you need to enter a speedy trial waiver. So you have a constitutional right to have your case taken to trial within 60 days if you are in custody, or 90 days if you're out of custody. That's from the date of your arraignment or the last time you waived speedy. The proposal is to have you enter a speedy trial waiver with a commencement date of March 30th, which would give the city 90 days from that date to take your case to trial if needed. So do you feel like you understand your right to a speedy trial, and are you willing to waive that right with the commencement date of March 30th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Right, so finding that your waiver is knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily entered. I'm signing the waiver. Your next court date is going to be March 30th at 10 o'clock in the morning. All their previously set release conditions will remain in place.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
You care, I feel bad, but
You sure you're gonna look at it?
yeah. And you know what, in 2 weeks, if we don't have an answer, we'll just hold it open
Okay.
and I'll send a letter.
Mr.
Sorry.
Dutton is my only remaining, he's here. I believe he's on for potentially getting new counsel today. I believe his prior counsel withdrew last week.
Oh,
You had Mr. Bogart, correct, previously? Okay.
Okay,
I think he was reassigned to Mary Kay.
Oh, was he already?
Mhm.
yeah, I think I saw a note about that.
And
Let me
I apologize, I didn't see that.
That's
so.
okay, and I think she's doing a set over today.
Okay. Sorry, I hadn't heard from Ms. Gaffney. I'll let her call this case when she's ready
Okay.
then.
Sounds good. All right.
And then can you call Dutton first, so Mr. Busby can leave? Alexander Dutton. That.
Sorry, Mr. Busby, I didn't know you were, no. I heard you talking. Okay. Actually, you told me that you know, too, yeah.
Yeah, I just told him that.
He's going. Mr. I believe is now newly appointed.
All right, Mr. Dutton, come on up. All right, since appearing for readiness today, how would you like to move forward with this case?
We're setting this over, we're tracking his pending felony with Mr. Felisa. So we're waiting speedy. And what's that, do you know? Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm still talking to getting new representation there.
I think he confirms, new council and superior report this week.
Tuesday.
Two ministers.
All right, and Mr. Busby, any objection to the set over?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay, so. Let's open here. All right, so Mr. Dutton, in order to set over your case, you need to enter a waiver of speedy trial. You have a constitutional right to have your case taken to trial within 60 days of the day of your arraignment if you're in custody, or 90 days if you're out of custody. By entering a waiver with the commencement date of June 8th, you're agreeing that the city has 90 days to take your case to trial from that date. Do you feel like you understand your right to a speedy trial, and are you willing to waive that right with the commencement date of June 8th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Signing the waiver is knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily waived.
I did neglect on the release conditions. I do need to check no contact with Samantha Dunn.
I just did that.
Thank you so much, Your Honor.
So I think we're all on the same page.
And I think that was the only condition.
Yes. All right, June 8th, 10 o'clock.
Mary Kay, I know you're running, but your last client is in room 2.
Okay.
Yep. And Mary Kay, your Sarah Alexander's online if we want to do that quickly too.
Your Honor, that was my last matter for this morning, so reports leave.
Have a great day.
Leave.
Make him
Thank you.
stay.
Yeah,
Talk.
we're remanding you to the courtroom.
And this is. And sorry to hold you up, Mr. Busby, and this is Carolina Wilson. We're still negotiating, trying to get a hold of the other driver.
Okay,
So we're just going over a couple of weeks. We have our alcohol eval, and we're hoping for a favorable recommendation, but we have not received it yet.
okay, sounds good. All right, Miss Wilson, in order to set over your case a couple of weeks, you need to enter a waiver of your speedy trial, right? You have a constitutional right to have your case taken to trial within 60 days of the day of your arraignment, or the last time you waived if you're in custody, 90 days if you're out of custody. By waiving your right to a speedy trial, you're agreeing that the city has 90 days from March 30th to take your case to trial. You understand your right to a speedy trial, and are you willing to waive that right with the commencement date of March 30th?
Yes.
And Ms. Carmi, I assume no objection to the set over.
No objection, Your Honor.
All right, all previously imposed release conditions remain as set. Your next court date is March 30th at 10 o'clock in the morning.
2 weeks from there. And then don't forget your homework. Okay, thanks, Carolyn. Miss Alexander is online.
All right, and do we have a Sarah Alexander on Zoom? Chance? Do we have Miss Alexander on Zoom?
Oh, she's in the waiting room. Let me bring her in.
Oh, okay.
And then I'll get right to my name.
All right, do we have Sarah Alexander on the Zoom? Sarah Alexander?
Yes.
All right, so Miss Alexander, you are appearing today, I believe, for readiness. I have an order of dismissal here in front of me. It looks like the city is moving to dismiss the case without prejudice in the interest of justice. I assume there is no objection to this dismissal.
No.
That's awareness class. We appreciate it very much. Thank you.
Good job. All right, Miss Alexander, your case is dismissed as of today. Good job.
Thank you so much.
Now we're running her around today.
I know.
Your Honor,
Yes.
do we have Mr. Jose Govea in the courtroom or on Zoom?
He appeared on Zoom and I just assigned him new counsel.
Oh, okay. Okay, did he give a basis for his concern or? I mean, that's fine if the court wants to. I'm not questioning. I just don't know what he may or may not have said.
He submitted a letter. I think the general tenor was breakdown in communication or something like that.
Okay, well, I haven't seen that letter, but I'll just reserve that I probably viscerally disagree with its contents.
I understand, and no, I obviously don't hold anything against you, and just
Sure.
appointed counsel because he asked for it. And
Okay, thanks, Judge.
Mr. Cheney, my apologies. I told the court I did not believe you were appearing today, so that's on me and I apologize.
Oh, no problem. Thank you.
thank you. Have a good day. Ms. Kermy, on Meehan, there was a printed guilty plea and a handwritten one. Do you remember which one was the correct one?
I know, and the public defender's just telling me now that she emailed a different plea form. So yeah, let me take both of those and compare it to what she just sent me.
Let me know, Jill, because I can print it here.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Oh, it is. I think there's some more completed on this new one. She just emailed. Hey, Carol. Carol, would you mind printing that one? I think it is a little bit different.
The one that Angela sent.
Just now, yeah. I don't need the PTA though. That is the same. Just the statement.
You said not PTA.
Correct. It can go. Yeah.
Thank you. Tracy White is supposed to be online.
She is, she's in the waiting room.
Oh, good. Yeah. And that's what takes that over.
Yeah. The updated statement of the,
Okay,
and then here will be our judgment.
perfect. Thank you. All right, so are we ready on Meehan?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so do we have Austin Meehan in the jail booth?
I'll get to this thing.
Oh,
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
okay, and so Austin Meehan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, so Mr. Meehan, you're appearing today to enter a guilty plea. I have an 8-page document in front of me called Statement of Defendant on Plea of Guilty that goes over the rights that you're going to be giving up when you enter a guilty plea in this case. Did you have a chance to go over all of your rights with your attorney?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
All right, so this document states you are 23 years old, you've completed the 11th grade in school, is that correct?
Yes, that is.
All right, you're being charged with 1 count of violation of a protection order, alleging that on or about September 19th in the city of Battleground, there existed a protection order. You knew of the existence of the order, and on September 20th, you violated the restraint provisions of the order by having contact with the protected party. Since you've been charged with that crime, you have certain rights. You have the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury. You have the right to remain silent before and during trial, and the right to refuse to testify against yourself. You have the right at trial to hear and question witnesses who could testify against you and witnesses who could testify in your favor, who could be made to appear at no expense to you. You have the right to be presumed innocent unless the charge is proven beyond a reasonable doubt or you enter a plea of guilty, and you have the right to appeal determination of guilt after a trial. Do you understand that you have all of those rights?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, you give up all of those rights?
Yes.
The crime that you're charged with carries a maximum sentence of 364 days in jail and a $5,000 fine. The prosecuting attorney is making a recommendation of 364 days jail with 334 suspended, serving 30 days to begin today with 25 days credit for time served. Is that right?
It should be 20. It should be 30 days total, 23 time served. And then 7 days left to serve concurrently with his Clark County sentence.
Okay. A $500 fine, DV treatment, with the evaluator receiving a copy of the report, mental health evaluation and treatment, if any is recommended, fees, and the remainder of the sentence suspended for 5 years. So that's what the prosecuting attorney is recommending, but do you understand that I do not have to follow anyone's recommendation and could sentence you anywhere up to the maximum?
Yes, Your Honor.
I have the authority to place you on probation for up to 5 years, require you to pay cost, fees, and assessments. Also, if you are not a citizen of the United States, a plea of guilty to an offense punishable as a crime under state law may be grounds for deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or denial of naturalization pursuant to the laws of the United States. Ms. Engstrom, do you need any additional time to talk with your client about that provision?
I do not.
Due to this conviction, you'll no longer be able to own or possess any firearms or have any firearms under your control. If you possess a firearm, that would be a crime. Knowing all of that, how do you plead to one count of violation of a protection order? Do you plead guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Are you making this plea freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Has anyone made any threats or promises to you to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Paragraph 11 contains a factual basis, which is facts that make you guilty of the crime. States on or about September 22nd, 2022 in Battleground, Clark County, Washington. I was in the same car as Rebecca Schillinger, a protected person in a domestic violence no contact order in effect on that date, and I was aware of said no contact order. Is that a true and accurate statement of the facts?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is the city satisfied with that factual basis?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, well, upon advice of rights and advice of counsel, I will find you guilty of one count of no contact order violation. Finding that your plea has been entered knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily. Are we ready to proceed to sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Carmi, what's the city's position on sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we would ask the court to follow the recommendations. This was a very heavily negotiated matter that takes into account that he's currently serving sentences both from a Clark County District and Clark County Superior Court case. Takes into account that he's served 23 days to date on this case. And certainly the city's main concern is that we don't have him back here for any domestic violence matters, and the request for the evaluation and treatment.
And Mr. Meehan, would you like to let me know anything before sentencing?
No, I just want to apologize for being brought in front of the court again. I know I've made mistakes in the past, but I'm hoping that, well, I'm not hoping, I don't want to see you guys again, not in a bad way. I just thank you for your time, and I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and I hope you follow the agreement, please, and thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Ingstrom, would you like to tell me before sentencing?
I don't really have anything to add, Your Honor. Just ask that you follow the recommended sentence.
Okay. So I will follow the pretrial agreement. It'll be 364 days with 334 days suspended, 30 days to serve. Sounds like there's credit for time served for 23 days, 7 additional days to serve, which will be served concurrently with his other sentences. $5,000 fine with 4,500 suspended, $150 filing fee, $100 domestic violence penalty, $15 protection order violation fee, $30. Well, I guess what's the difference between the 15 and 30.75?
On the DV case?
Yeah.
There are different mandatory DV assessments.
Okay.
They go to different funds or something.
Yes,
gotcha.
Bureaucratic.
Okay, so we've got a $15 DVCV fee, DPO fee, and a $30.75 DV protection order violation fee. $300 attorney fees, and a $43 conviction fee. Remainder of the sentence is suspended for 5 years. You're not to commit any new law violations and remain on good behavior. Ordering domestic violence treatment. A police report from this incident needs to be provided to the evaluator with your criminal history prior to the evaluator rendering a treatment recommendation. You're ordered to comply with all treatment recommendations. You're also ordered to complete a mental health evaluation and comply with all recommended treatment. So in the judgment and sentence, it says 30 days of 23 credit for time served, but then down here it says begin 30 days on this matter on March 16th. Should I just strike that out?
Yes, Your Honor. I think that that was before we had acknowledgement of how many credits and served days we had. So
Okay.
yes, striking would be appropriate. And did I give your honor the notice of ineligibility for firearms?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
All right, Mr. Meehan, this conviction eliminates your ability to own or possess firearms. If you own or possess firearms, as I indicated, that would be another crime that you could be charged with. If you have any firearms, you need to immediately surrender them, including any concealed pistol licenses that you may have. I've signed off on this notice. Do I have your authority to sign this on your behalf to acknowledge that you understand that you are no longer allowed to own or possess firearms?
Yes, you do, Your Honor.
Okay, did we have any other in custodies ready?
Yes, we're ready. We're gonna go with it now. I gave you your application, he spoke to you tomorrow. Okay, we don't need a PTA. Okay. But I'll take the one that you said, you know, the one we bought. He hopes to get out.
Okay. So do we have Levi Verstegen?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so Mr. Verstegen, you have, I believe it's,
If you're not guilty on both driving while suspended, that's blame being named for the offense. We waive the reading, in terms of the release, well, I think. But I do have some possibility that go on now.
okay, Ms. Carmi, what's the city's position on release?
Your Honor, in this case, we're not asking for holds on the two DWS threes. We understand that there's holds on other matters. Is that correct? Is he being held?
Well, he said he came from Morristown, he's gonna get out tomorrow. Thomas was told, they wouldn't take him, that they were too full.
Oh,
That's
Well-
my final advice.
okay. I think regardless, Your Honor, we have in resolution discussions with Ms. Gaffney already, and on these DWS 3 cases, we're asking for standard release conditions, no driving without a valid license and insurance.
Okay, so Mr. Verstegen, you're gonna be released on your own recognizance on these two matters.
Okay,
You're not to drive without a valid license or insurance, and you're to remain law abiding. Your next court date on these matters is going to be April 20th at 10 o'clock in the morning.
okay.
Make sure you keep in touch with Miss Gaffney in between now and your next court date, so you have a plan for moving forward, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Then are we releasing our whole?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Oh, he's on. You want me to bring him in?
Sure. And then we have Tracy Wayne.
Oh. You know, long time, this is just, and now we're gonna jinx ourselves, guys, but this is. It's not, that's not.
You guys are gonna make Judge Wheeler feel really bad. I'm gonna be Switzerland and stay in trouble.
Secrets are safe. All right, who would we like to take first?
There's an L.
Oh, I thought I did. I was supposed to, it was joining. Well, we have Tracy, but Mr. Burnell is still.
Or we could do Ms. Wagner.
Take Miss Wagner. Tracy Wagner, are you connected on the Zoom? Miss Wagner, can you hear me?
Or not.
I'm just trying. Miss Wagner, can you hear the court? Miss Wagner, are you there? Miss Wagner?
Yes, hello.
Oh, okay, all right, we got you connected.
Yes,
All right, so Miss Wagner, you are here today for a review.
yes,
Looks like the proposal is to set your matter over to May 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon to continue tracking your DUI case.
right.
And any objection to the set over?
Nope,
And this is a post plea.
Yeah, we were on deferred and,
Perfect.
so the new charge, we're tracking the new charge and she's going to trial, May 1 on that with Vancouver defenders, Amber.
Cagnata.
Thank you, there's a Cagnata.
All right. Sounds good. All right, so Miss Wagner will have you back here May 18th at 1:30 in the afternoon. Please keep in touch with Miss Gaffney.
okay, thank you,
Good luck, Tracy.
thank you. Okay,
That's. Oh, yeah, that's Angela.
But Mary Kay was gonna go ahead and take it.
We chatted a little, I know he knows Amber's online.
Okay.
Do we have Travis Bunnell on the Zoom?
He's trying to get in.
He's out of the waiting room now that he's not.
Miss Engstrom, did you have a chance to speak with Mr. Sarkinen?
I did.
Okay, so Mr. Sarkinen, can you come on up? Come on up. All right, so Ms. Ingstrom, I went over with Mr. Sarkinen, his charge, the maximum fine and penalty. Is he ready to proceed with arraignment today?
Yes, Your Honor. On this, we're just going to waive further reading and enter a plea of not guilty and request some new dates.
Okay. And Ms. Carmi, what's the city's position on release?
So in the new arraignment case, Your Honor, we are not asking for anything beyond standard release conditions and no driving without a valid license or insurance. We do note that defendant is also on for sentence review this afternoon, and we would ask after Your Honor sets dates or before, whatever your preference is, Your Honor, that we would address that case because there's been lack of compliance with work crew.
Okay. So first we'll set your new dates. Ms. Ingstrom, is the April 27th date the date that you'd like?
Let me double check that real quick. Yes, that should work out great. I will note it's also take your kid to work day, so I might have some extras.
Oh, gosh, mine will be here too. Yeah. 27.
Fun.
And my son.
All
will
right,
be
so
working.
Mr. Sarkinen, your next court date for the new driving while suspended will be April 27th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Be sure to keep in touch with Ms. Ingstrom. While you're out on release on that case, be sure that you're not driving without a valid license or insurance and that you are remaining law abiding. Next, we can address the 2A case sending in 3387. So you were cited into court for this afternoon. We can address it now. We received notice that you were terminated from work crew. You were sentenced to 10 days of work crew. You completed 1 day, but did not complete the remaining 9 days. Ms. Ingstrom, do you want to have this matter addressed with your client today, or are you going to be asking to set it over to track?
I would probably set that over to track. I've not had a chance to speak with him about that, and this, I believe, was Greg's case, and I'd probably like to speak with him about that.
Okay.
And
Ms. Carmi, any objection to a set over?
No, I think what might be helpful, I think that this is the first review since he pled. And typically, assuming he's still planning to do the work crew, we would need to, Your Honor, would need to reassign him so that he could still work on it until the next review date.
Okay.
And I would also note we are missing the defensive driving school compliance, and I believe he would have to be re-referred for that again too? Yeah.
This is the one I used to reassign.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so I'm gonna reassign your 9 days of work crew. It'd be a good idea to get some of that done before coming back, okay? I'm sorry, did you say the defensive driving class had to be reassigned as well?
It does, that's correct, right, Carol? Yeah. Yeah, we'll have to reassign it, 'cause I think they also pick them off after 30 days of not doing this.
Okay. So like I said, next court date, April 27th. On the new case, the court date will be at 10 a.m. For the compliance review, it'll be 1:30, but you know, they might be able to just address all of these. We have Travis Bunnell connected on Zoom.
I just spoke with him and he said he figured it out.
You're muted, Mr. Bunnell.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yep, thank you for connecting. All right, Travis Bunnell, we have you here for readiness today. Ms. Gaffney, how would you like to move forward on this case?
Setting it over to April 20th with the waiver commencing that date. I emailed all that to Mr. Vanel. He has reviewed it. I would ask His Honor to request authorization to sign. He's just has to pay a fine. He's starting the restoration program in Clark County, and then he's going to be able to reinstate. Once he makes his first payment, then he can pay the reinstatement.
All right, Ms. Carmi, any objection to the set over?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, so Mr. Bunnell, you have a right to have your case taken to trial within 60 days of your arraignment or the last time you waived if you're in custody, or 90 days if you're out of custody. The proposal is to have you waive your right to a speedy trial with a commencement date of April 20th, which would give the city 90 days from that date to have your matter taken to trial. Do you understand your right to a speedy trial, and are you willing to waive that right with a commencement date of April 20th?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, finding your waiver is knowingly, intelligently, and voluntarily made.
Yes.
Your next court date is going to be April 20th at 10 o'clock in the morning. Please make sure to keep in touch with Ms. Gaffney in between now and then.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And Your Honor, we have Ms. Leanna Oxford in the courtroom. She is on for this afternoon at 1:30 for census compliance, so she's here early.
We're gonna have to take a 40.
Yeah.
Gives now a break.
And I think that would make sense, because I'll probably need to chat with. Well, could we do this before we take a break? I think we need to reassign her to counsel, because there's been enough non-compliance that I'll be moving for jail sanction. And then at least that would, and then we can take a break and the two of them could talk.
Sure.
I think Mary
Is that
Kay
okay?
was her. Okay.
Is that okay? Okay. Leanna Oxford?
And yeah, you're not still on this case, so let's reappoint you and then.
And then we'll send it over to the 30th.
Yeah.
All right, are you Leanna Oxford?
Yes.
All right, so it sounds like you're currently technically unrepresented. Has there been any change in your financial circumstances since the last time Ms. Gaffney was appointed to your case? No. Okay, I'm going to reappoint Ms. Gaffney.
And could we possibly go over to March 30th on this when you're on, or so I can talk to my clients?
Sure.
We don't have any speedy issues. If you want that at 1:30 on the 30th.
Yeah, all three of these are sentence compliance, no speedy issues, and I'm not hiding the ball here. There's been zero compliance with work crew, even though it was reassigned a few times. So we probably will be moving for a jail sanction.
Can she talk to Devin today about doing work?
If-
They're reassigned again.
If Your Honor would be willing to reassign, the city's happy to see how much you can get done in 14 days.
How much is she supposed to do total?
Yeah.
like 17, I think. So she won't get it all done.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I will fill out a.
So then you could talk to Devin today and get someone want to get come in before we come back. And
Mhm.
I
Okay,
apologize, Your Honor, it's 16 days.
16 days. And if you want, Your Honor, I can fill out the paperwork too.
I think I got it.
This is actually. I don't know. Maybe they have ready.
Did you say April 20th or
March 20th.
March 20th?
Oh, wait, that's 30th. I was like, I'm not being court on March 20th.
March 30th is actually the start time that you can go out.
I mean, to give her a shot at this, let's do April. Let's do
April
30
20th.
days. Yeah.
Okay, now we're done. Thanks.
So April 20th?
April 20th, please, thank you.
Okay, so, Miss Oxford, I'm reassigning the 16 days of work crew that you owe. I think it's been made abundantly clear today that if you don't do it by April 20th, which should be ample time to get it done, likelihood of going to jail is pretty high, okay? So, thank you.
We don't want that.
We don't want that.
We'll get that work. Everybody get it? Oh, no, I didn't know Thank you for that opportunity.
How's it going? What is?
Is Devin here? Yeah. Okay. Thanks, everyone. The record time. Get that doctor.
I'm very thankful for the really.
I know. Okay, you're working it.
I was
What,
I think we had one Brandon Woodard, who said he would be here later. Well, the good thing of praise your honor, that what I'll do is, go through the arraignment, follow the arraignment on citizens, and then when you come back, I can let you know if there's one I want. You know, on the other one on.
Okay. So we'll be on a break for 10 minutes, 15 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right.
First week of what's wrong? How about your spring break? First week of April. You going anywhere? No. What did you do?
Winter and dog sledding and yeah. So here's the thing, my husband for 8 months was in the chaperone, because their thought was like pretty very, there's a lot of many times you can follow students and all that stuff. So he said, there was okay, if there was an emergency, you could like throw kids over your shoulder and like your husband, but now, once it was blew out the PTO at team, so he can't go, but he was telling me he could still do it. So he looked at the plan, he's going. 48 hours ago, he was like, I can't do that, can't go, my knee hurts too much. I'm like, you can't leave them hanging. So I booked 48 hours ago, I booked my tickets from that. It was actually wasn't too bad. We do everything with our access by the card, so you're not old.
So the whole school?
Just the middle school, 6th, 7th, 8th grade. How many kids you don't? And then last year we did, I think we looked at Alabama.
Oh, yeah, that's.
Yeah. After that, the next year was 16. So, yeah.
Oh, definitely.
Then in Cambridge, I'm also. So, yeah, so I'm doing the whole, like, the full meal thing. My brother went to Cambridge. Okay, how you doing? Okay.
Thanks, I'm about Kansas too. Okay, Carol, more Kansas.
Yes. I didn't do my bracket until the point all went out. They're on the TV and turn it all back there. There's a TV back there. Oh, there is. I don't know if we get cable, but.
That's not.
I have, in the old days, used to have controlling to watch it. And then, I started on word changing the skills. It's my favorite time here, Carol. I didn't know, I mean, I live for that. We said last year, when we looked at it, I would want to train. I know, we started with second, but and we haven't always started. Oh my goodness, yeah. I don't know that maybe it's serious. I was still in this, like, well, not like, I was like, no, wait, Kansas went the ball, for Kansas, and so I would take Kansas. She still finished third, but she was like, I need to go for Kansas, just about that, like. So this year, everyone chose Kansas. Well, and there's a couple of our courses, I mean, there's, every year, there's huge upsets. I know, but there's been some good upsets. I mean, Liberty beat Villanova the other night. Yeah. It was like, Villanova didn't come out like.
She's a good kid.
Just get.
Okay, so my afternoon, that's what we. And normally I'm not supposed to add my people.
I hope we didn't work you too much, didn't it?
It's no say today when it's gonna open up.
Oh.
Because of the snow, with the terrible snow. Boy, it's been cold in Miami.
Oh, yeah, it's cold and snowy. We
Oh.
were 50-some degrees yesterday, we got snow. The day before, we were 52.
Brutal.
They were getting snow. I told my girlfriend over in Prairie City, the ranch. And I said, well, what are you and your mom enjoying the sunshine? She said, Carol, it's snowing here. It's horrible.
Back east, there was storm too. And we're now starting today, we're going into a dry spell. We're not supposed to have any rain.
Good.
Yeah, it's
For a
supposed to be nice this week.
Because what was it, 1.9 inches the other day?
Yeah, one day. But you know, we're still below the lower level, even though it's been so dark. That one day we did that, but we're still way under the level. Like, I didn't realize that because it's been so dark. But we haven't had a lot of measure.
But the farmer's almanac says this year, this summer is gonna be another dry, hot summer. Is what the farmer's almanac said.
Oh, God, then. Oh, shoot. I thought he was able to talk to Bob, good Bob. That was your neighbor. I said, just so sad, just like a Jones. He was here to because of legislation. But he could statutorily qualify for that. They didn't want to do it because they didn't see much. So they
I
did that.
hope your house is gonna be safe.
It's. What, then what about you? You want? Your grandchildren?
Yeah. Probably not this week, but then next week.
Right away. No, you're not, how did you do? So I was worried about you, but you got the breakfast, did you? You brought the meal?
Yeah.
And you got to see
lunch,
them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see them.
We had good roads until we hit the top.
And then what,
And
ice?
it was just a sheet of ice.
Oh.
Because we had left here, and that was a hard drive. Usually I will sleep in or sleep in on Friday morning, and sleep in.
Weekend is after 5:50.
Yes.
Sleeping till 5:50.
And then being on the road, but Steve and Megan were bound and determined to be on the road and be there Friday morning to go see him. And so we left here when I got down to court, we didn't get mom's until 1:30. Oh, we left our house at 7:30.
Oh, how do you know that means you're passing the jar when you can't see it? It's icy.
Oh, you could see it was icy.
Oh.
Yeah, you could see it was
There's
icy.
nobody out.
And you, oh no.
Yeah, I spun around out there.
We had trucks passing us at 70 miles an hour. And we had our flashers on and Steve had it in 4-wheel drive. It's like, you're on straight ice.
Oh, so he had the crashes. No, I learned, I didn't worry, Don Gillen taught me. You know,
Don
Don Gillen,
Gillen.
yeah, he said, no. You gotta tell him. So I hit the brakes, because it's on my. I would love to meet you, if I had gone over the other side, we wouldn't be having this conversation. That was going down. And then I'm reaching, oh my God, nobody stopped. Mary. Yeah. Don't just hit him. You hit those brakes, boom, you just spin out.
Yeah, I was always taught to shift down
Yeah, I was in Mike's class.
and just let off the pedal. But, I forgot that you knew Don.
Yeah.
Gillen. I forgot about him. He passed away.
Young.
Yeah. He and Nancy knew had divorced.
Right.
Nancy eventually went to save him.
Oh, so she moved to, okay, I'm still friends with her, I think, Facebook with her kids, yeah. She was great.
We used to snowmobile with Don and Nancy.
He took me to, What's the one where you look down?
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, he took the, equal. And then like, you're looking. But yeah, that Eagle Cap wilderness, because he had the rig to go on. That was beautiful. You can look right down. You know, it's in House Canada.
It's beautiful country.
I love it up there. Mine went going up there.
But, probably, well, I know I'm going over next week.
You're going there?
I will probably either travel late Thursday night or really early Friday morning, because mom has a doctor's appointment Friday morning. Well, she had one last year for 6 months, and they gave her a really hard antibiotic that Medicare didn't cover, so all 3 of those kids had to go for. Because she's like, oh my gosh, and we're like, it's all right. You know, and she was so humble, she's like, no, I can do this. Anyway, so it took a long time for it to go away, but now it's back. Her 3rd round of antibiotics, and doctor's like, oh, you're fine. And her back is killing her, and I said, Mom, are you sure it's not going to be the infection?
Yeah, exactly.
And she said, well, they do the UA, and the doctor said everything looks good, but you know, and as when we get older with bladder infections, it messes with the memory and all the, and I can tell that in her speech. And I'm like, I am coming to your doctor's appointment. And I said, you know what? If she doesn't change or do an MRI, figure out what's going on, he said, we're gonna get you to another doctor. She said, Carol, we're grand doctors, not taking any new people. There's not a lot there.
Right.
I said, you know what, Mom,
You
we'll
go
take
to
it to the ER, and then you ask for a referral to a different doctor. But I said, you've got to get away from this doctor. She's not caring for you like she's just.
See, when we did the party, we spent up there.
I can tell. It's
Yeah, yeah.
and she'll go right into another conversation and come back. And it's like, moms, and I don't want to say mom's already said this. I'm like, oh, okay. But her speech is slower. And I'm like,
There's probably.
and that's the thing, when I was home, seeing Paxton, I asked mom, I said, okay. So now you're on your another round of antibiotics, but have they done any blood work? Have they seen the right blood cell count? And she hasn't done blood work for quite some time, for probably over a year now. I'm like, we're gonna request blood work when we're going in.
That's all it is. It's hard. You really have to emphasize the advocate. And then she's got to the point where she doesn't know if she's going to be done. She doesn't know if she's sick or not. You get to the point where you just feel, you don't feel right, but you can't pinpoint it.
Yeah, because my mom is gonna go where she is always gonna run circles around the continuously. And she's never needed more than 2 or 3 hours of sleep. She's like Steve. She'll sleep in her recliner, but man, 4 o'clock in the morning, she's up and moving.
When she's not looking,
She's like, no, she's like, you know, it just hurts to get up. And I'm like, you've got something else going on.
Yeah.
Well, mom, antibiotics. That's wrong. You're not thinking, she's not.
Yeah.
It's not really there. And I know it's because 76. So not old.
Right, exactly. But yeah, you're right, you gotta get on that. And I think sometimes you have to send something. With I had to do this. She was complaining, we never told the doctor. I go in there and I told them all the symptoms. I go, I don't care what it is. I need to get her that. Well, you need somebody else to listen.
And mom said, you know, she's a retired Air Force doctor, so she's not gonna take much gap. I said, I don't have to give her gap, but I can take you to the ER or I can take you to another doctor. So I could just tell her how concerned I am, and what we're seeing, what I'm recognizing.
Yeah, there's something going on here and she's not even able to articulate it to you, doctor. That's what you know.
And her back is telling her.
You know, there's a virus that people have. How can we resolve this? That there's, I'm concerned about my mother. Because if I never tell you, It doesn't help, you know, to try to say how can we.
My sister lives in. I'm like, well, why do you check out when there's the mud bath? Why is little sister having to come to the right of that?
That's your older sister.
Yeah, I've given up. Because I get nowhere, I get. And then, oh, just, we ask so much of her. I know. No, ask and she takes care of you, real. Even when you're not, ill, she brings in you dinner, she weeds your flower bed, she goes in and cleans your house. We're super here today. I just need to go check on home today. Oh, she does. My husband just shakes his head, but he said, you know, we're really here, so. I'm very grateful to have a husband that will just get in the vehicle and.
Oh, yeah, no. And you're in, when you're going over there, you're in a big, pickup, you're in a big, yeah, so that's right. Yeah, I can't. Oh,
I told him, I said, we haven't done this in years, and when we got to mom, they said it's perfect.
all right, hey, I'm out of here. Okay, kids, we'll see you this afternoon.
Have a good weekend.
I'll say hi to Joe.
Oh, goodness. Sure. I think, are we like done? She can come back on and do one. Okay. But that. They're actually. No, all of our money is. So this is what we do.
Okay, we're doing warrants, right?
Yes.
Okay,
Let me know when you're ready. I'll go through them alphabetically.
okay, I think I'm ready.
So.
Mhm.
Okay. So this is a DWS. This is a DWS 3. Typically wouldn't ask for a warrant beyond the standard amount. However, Ms. Brown has been on warrant status on this case since 2019. She has 4 active warrants in other courts. So we are asking for a warrant to issue in the amount of $1,000.
Okay. So Alicia Brown. Alicia Brown is not present in the courtroom. She's not present on Zoom. I'm looking at a release agreement signed by Ms. Brown, promising to appear today at 8:30. She has failed to appear. A warrant will be issued an amount of $1,000.
Next, I have Justine Thompson.
Okay.
Here for a theft 3 charge. There's quite a significant out-of-state criminal history. I would typically ask for a warrant beyond the standard amount with her history. However, I believe she's been extradited to Clackamas from Clark County, which probably explains her non-appearance. So I would simply ask for a warrant to issue, and perhaps she will reappear when Clackamas is done with her case.
So Justine Compton. Justine Compton is not present in the courtroom. She's not present on Zoom. I have a citation she was given requiring her appearance today, March 16th at 8:30 in the morning. At this time, she has failed to appear. How much of a?
Just standard.
I'll
I don't even know what standard is.
I believe it's one now, it's not at that.
Okay.
I'll, given the fact that she's probably in a different jurisdiction, I'll authorize a $500 bench warrant.
Okay. And then the next one is that, do you have McAllister next? Okay, so I've got Alexander McAllister on for a theft 3. We are asking for a warrant to issue in the amount of $2,000. Mr. McAllister had 2 active warrants in Clark District. He has pending charges there, and he has accrued 2 new theft charges since this December 2022 arrest.
Okay. So it looks, and has he ever appeared on this?
I do not know.
No. All right, so Alexander McAllister was ordered to appear today, March 16th at 8:30. There's no one in the courtroom. There's no one by that name on Zoom. At this time, he has failed to appear, and I'll issue a $2,000 bench warrant.
And then the next one I have is Katia Valentine.
Says this one, she might be here by 1:30, so
Oh.
should we save that one?
Let's save that one, and it's, I have a similar note on Woodard's that he would be coming up later. So we can save those 2 for end of docket.
Okay.
Sorry.
I don't have a file for Woodard.
Maybe he got moved to afternoon then. Or did Brandon Woodard's move days?
It's supposed to be there. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
File for him.
For Brandon Woodard.
Oh, no, I do. Dang it.
Oh, that's probably just a very small one.
Yes. Okay. Should we go find Carol and tell her that we found it? Okay. So we can save him for later too.
I saw a note that he was gonna come later this morning and he's not here, but I'll give him the benefit of holding off.
When I spoke to him, he had court this morning in Clackamas, so he thought he'd be here by 11.
Okay,
Okay.
okay. And then my last one is the Sandra Viap, if that's how you say the last name, I'm not sure, XIAP. We would ask for a warrant to issue in the standard amount. This is not her first non-appearance on this case, however, I think given the underlying charge, the city at this time is fine with a warrant in the standard amount.
Okay.
Which on a DWS is it 250 or 500? It's 500.
Okay. All right, so it looks like Sandra Ann Ziap was ordered to appear today at 8:30. She's not present in the courtroom and she's not present on Zoom. So this time she has failed to appear. I will authorize a $500 bench warrant.
And that is it for my notes on non-appearance. Are you left with any extra files?
No.
Okay, perfect. It's always good when ours match up.
All right, well, all over this morning.
Okay. I will follow on off.